What up, Homedawgs? My name is Gokey Gamer, and welcome everybody to week 2 of the NBBL main division, where this week we're going to be going up against King K. Rool and the Portland Porygons. Now, really quickly before continuing on this video, looking back at this footage, I recorded this footage before I made the decision to switch to just pure live commentary for this series as well as the low tier division. So for this one, I will be doing a mix of the post-com and what little live com I have. It was a very fun video for me to edit. Also, if you're the reason you're not seeing my face cam right now, I'm very tired. It is almost 2 a.m. in the morning, and I need to get this video out, like, now. So, yeah, so that's what's going on here. It's another post-com, which I do apologize for, but there is some live commentary mixed in there too, which I think you all very much enjoy. And yeah, this is a battle you do not want to miss. It's a very fun battle, and without any further ado, I'll go ahead and let you guys head to it. So, let's hop into it. Plop! Hey y'all, before continuing the video, I just wanted to take a second to plug my Ko-Fi page. I'm currently saving money to eventually buy a laptop to help with editing so I can get you all more videos, so any support is immensely appreciated. You'll not only have access to videos a day early, but you'll also have access to team previews, exclusive benefits on my Discord server, the ability to vote in exclusive polls, and even be named after one of my Pokemon on my Draft League and NUZLOCKE teams if you become a member, along with many other benefits. If y'all enjoy my content, then I highly recommend checking it out. With that out of the way, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and let's hop into the rest of the video. Plop, and we are back. So, I'm sure I explained everything in the intro. Without any further ado, I'd say let's go ahead and get into it. You can see the plop here. I'll probably include some live bits in the video, specifically of certain moments that you'll see in a second, but yeah, without any further ado, let's go ahead and see what my opponent brought. So my opponent ends up bringing Necrozma, Bronzong, Charjabug, Ogerpon-Hearthflame, Donphan, and Enamorus-Incarnate. A very scary team to be sure. I am very glad not to see Regieleki and Whimsicott. Both of those not being there is obviously really great. Everything else is pretty terrifying. Alomomola also not being there is also nice, and Weavile not being there too is very, very good, especially. But, yeah, overall, I'm very excited about this matchup. I think it's a very good matchup for us. I think it's a very favorable matchup for us. And here I'm deciding my lead, because I didn't really have a dedicated lead for this game. And I actually opt to lead none other than VOLBEAT, because not only do I think my opponent's not going to be expecting that, but I also thought, you know, like, it's a pretty, like, decent matchup against everything. Like, everything will want to be Thunder Waved. Like, nothing likes being Thunder Waved besides the Charjabug. Like, Weavile's not there, so it's not Prankster immunity, which is great. So, yeah, that was just the play I made, and let's see if it paid off. Good luck, have fun to my opponent, as always, by the way, love the card. And let's freaking do this! What is the lead, Bugman Jr.? Oh, we both lead with our bugs, that's cute. Heck yeah. So I send out the VOLBEAT as my opponent reveals that they sent out the Charjabug. So, yeah, Charjabug's here. I opt to go for a U-turn. I think it was either a Tailwind or a U-turn. I didn't see the button that I clicked. Okay, yes, I did click U-turn, and I go into Excadrill here, I believe, if I remember correctly. Yes, I go into Excadrill. I'm expecting a Sticky Web, so I want to make sure that I either bait out the Terra Ghost, or I just get this thing, like, or I just, you know, scare this thing off, make sure it doesn't cause too much chaos. And we receive the Lunge, which is actually pretty cool. Our attack falls, so we're now at -1 attack, but that's fine. I just click Swords Dance here because I can and I want to. Nothing really wants to switch in on Excadrill, even at -1. This gives me a very free switch, especially if my opponent opts to stay in, because it'll get us back up to neutral, and, you know, in general, is just really, really good for us. So we see the swap, and my opponent opts to switch in none other than Average Tusk, the Donphan, which is the one thing that could actually swap into this thing. I did not take that into account, but, you know, it's fine. We see the Swords Dance pop off here, so now we're at +1, but Earthquake is still doing not enough to KO this thing, and obviously also it has Sturdy. So I'm like, okay, I think here I'm trying to decide whether I want to switch into VOLBEAT or whether I want to switch into Appleton. Both actually resist Earthquake because Bug resists Ground. I don't want my Appleton to get chipped too badly, so... And if my opponent opts to go for, like, a Rapid Spin or something like that, then Rocky Helmet will severely punish that a lot. So I actually opt to go into VOLBEAT, my defensive wall, which is kind of crazy. I want to go back into VOLBEAT. Because I fear an Ice Spinner. An Ice Spinner is what I am scared of. An Ice Spinner is what I'm afraid of. So I'm going to do this for funsies. But yeah, we've got the Mad Hatter here. We see the Earthquake pop off, which does not do that much damage at all, which is crazy. It's so crazy to see. And here I'm like, okay, I can just click Tailwind here. It's also worth noting that Thunder Wave won't work on Donphan. I'm a silly boy. But, you know, we click Tailwind here, get up to +2 speed in case my opponent wants to try and switch, or if they want to knock off, then that's fine. We can get off a U-turn on the next turn, because we can't really do that much damage back. We do see that my opponent decides to stay in, look at our little butts, which is cute. I love how he cheeks his little butt. He's just like, do. Alright, we do see the rocks. That's a bit unfortunate. And then we see the Stealth Rocks. That's fine, because I can just go into Excadrill and Rapid Spin at some point, so it's not a big deal at all. And here is where I just click U-turn. You can already see how annoying Volbeat can be in this game. Just being able to set up Tailwind, guarantee outspeed literally everything on my opponent's side of the field, click U-turn, switch into something else that wants to be able to deal with the Donphan better, and then, you know, just go from there. And we also actually see the swap, another great reason we have U-turn, because we get that momentum. We are ultimately standing on the right side of history. So we do see the Bronzong actually coming in here. So I opt to go ahead and just click U-turn, and I believe here I just, despite the rocks being up, I do go into Skeledirge. It's because I am fearing a Terra fighting Bronzong. I do think about going into Urshifu here, but I'm like, I realized about the Terra fighting, and I'm like, okay, I ultimately go into Dadarge. So yes, I go into Dadarge, and we do take some chip, but I have Slack Off, I have Yawn, I have ways to kind of handle this, so I go ahead and click Yawn here, to put this thing to sleep, to put whatever wants to switch in to sleep, at least on the next turn, just be a general nuisance, and I think that's very great. So my opponent reveals that they are in fact Terra fighting, they stay in, they reveal Terra fighting, which does surprise me a little bit, that they revealed the Terra fighting, but it is for a very good reason. It is a very good reason that they stayed in here. You'll see in a second, they will have Trick. We do manage to get this thing, like, asleep, basically, but we do see the Trick. And we end up getting tricked, our Coldberry away, and we are also given the Toxic Orb, which is very unfortunate for us. You know what? I respect that. I respect that. Absolutely respect that. Because now we're on a timer. Skeledirge is a lot less useful this game. So then I pivot. Instead of clicking Slack Off, I click Torch Song because I want this thing chipped down as much as possible. If basically what the Dadarge is doing is just weakening things down, chipping things down for Excadrill, Urshifu, and others to sweep. That is kind of the main goal. I also want to make sure I prevent this thing from actually body pressing, iron defensing, popping off. In hindsight, I realize this a little bit later in the battle, but once I lose Skeledirge, I realize like, oh, wait a minute, I don't have a great special answer into Bronzong, so that was a little bit of a oopsie poopsie on my part, but realistically, like, at this point, it was very hard for me to kind of decipher, like, what Skeledirge was going to do before ultimately going down. So that was my reasoning. We'll see what my opponent wants to do next. So obviously my opponent does swap on here, and then they go into Average Tusk, which is obviously really great for me. We fire off the Torch Song to get a decent chunk of damage off on this thing, and also break the Sturdy, and then we get our Spatak buff. And now at this range, it still doesn't KO here. But what my opponent ends up doing, let's see here. So I actually go ahead and outspeed, and I click Torch Song, doing even more damage to Tusk, and now Tusk is pretty much dead. Excadrill is actually very free now, because I can just come in and Rapid Spin on this thing for free. So what I actually opt to do here, I realize I'm going to die next turn regardless of if this Donphan is dead or not. So I actually decide to go ahead and click Yawn, to put this thing to sleep if it wants to stay in, to put whatever wants to switch in to sleep as I die to the Toxic Chip, thinking, oh, my opponent might switch into something else, to save the Donphan or something like that. And my opponent just kind of grabs the kill with Earthquake, so it is what it is with that front. But yeah, the Dirge unfortunately goes down. Then we will see that I go into Excadrill, I believe. Yes, I do go into Excadrill to fire off a Rapid Spin. So my opponent actually swaps back into Bronzong as I click the Rapid Spin button. Overall, pretty good for me. Underminer speed rose and the pointed stones disappear from around my team. And here's where I kind of realize, like, oh shoot, I might have messed up a little bit here. So I actually go into none other than Volbeat, because Volbeat can resist the body press. We are Rocky Helmet. If my opponent reveals Trick again, then that's going to be a little bit oofy poopy. But, you know, it is what it is. We can also Thunder Wave this thing for free to at least kind of confirm that, make sure that this thing doesn't get too out of hand. Another very good thing, actually, is Slacking no longer has any switch-in. There's no switch-ins for Giga Impact Slacking now, which is very crucial information to note. So I will definitely keep that in mind as well. So I send in VOLBEAT here to tank whatever this thing wants to throw at me, and then my opponent clicks Trick once again, meaning we lose a Rocky Helmet and get a useless Colbur Berry, which is a bit unfortunate, and it's beginning to look like this Bronzong might be a bit of an issue. So I'm like, okay, this is not good, I'm going to have to swap out again, and I don't click U-turn this time because I want to make sure that I don't just straight up lose to, like, being chipped down. I don't want to lose too much HP. I think I can't remember exactly what I do here. I think I'd hard swap here. This thing is annoying the crap out of me, though, for the record. I'm quite annoyed at this. Oh, no, never mind. I do click U-turn. I do click U-turn, just to be like, you know what? I want to see what my opponent goes for. I want to see what they do before I actually make that play. And thankfully, my opponent does swap, so I don't take that Rocky Helmet chip, which is very nice for us. And then we see Average Tusk coming back in. This U-turn should KO here, which is obviously really great, and it does! So VOLBEAT picks up a KO, which is crazy. It is absolutely insane that VOLBEAT picked up a KO against the Don fam, but you know, the Don! We da da don da don! Oh, we see the swap. I'm okay with this. Interesting. Alright, so we need to keep in mind an Iron Defense Bloody Crest Bronzong kind of wins the game. I did not play that well, so oofy poopies. That's my bad. Although Don Fan goes down, VOLBEAT picking up a KO. We'd love to see it. Heck yeah. Alright, so what comes in here for free? I think literally Slacking does. Giga Impact Slacking, right? I think it's Giga Impact Slacking time. But yes, so this gives me a free switch into King Kong. The reason being is because he does not have a Ghost type on his team. The Chargeable cannot Terra anymore because Bronzong being there. So this gives me the freest switch into Slacking to just click a Terra Normal Giga Impact to just absolutely nuke something. So after deciding for a while what my opponent is going to do, they end up switching into Bronzong, which makes sense. Very, very makes sense. I think here I am calculating to see if I do need to Terra to KO this thing, and I think I do if I remember correctly. I'm not too sure. I think there's a chance that at this range I don't even need to Terra. I think I can just KO with a Choice Banded Giga Impact. So I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to click, yeah, I just straight up click Giga Impact. I don't Terra Normal here. I'm just like, you know what? I'm just going to click the button. Bada bing, bada boom, Giga Impact, basically one-shotting Bronzong, which is absolutely insane. We do get chipped by the Rocky Helmet, which is a bit annoying, but the Bronzong does go down here, which is really great for our team. That thing is now no longer a threat at all, and now our team is looking quite a bit better, which is really nice. Actually, I don't even need to Terra Normal you, I can just KO you straight up. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to Giga Impact you to death. Major threat out of the way, I will gladly take that. Bronzong is dead. Obviously, a couple of things that could be issues. Necrozma, like any of the other Pokemon setting up. We do have Prankster VOLBEAT in the back, though, specifically to counter that. So we do need to keep that in mind. VOLBEAT is there specifically to make sure that setup does not get out of hand. So here my opponent actually opts to send in Chargeable, and I kind of realize at this point, okay, either he's going to lower my attack with Lunge, or he's going to go ahead and set up Sticky Webs. Obviously we can't do anything because of Giga Impact, and we see now these Sticky Webs. So the webs are up on the team, but again, he has no Rapid Spin immunity, Donphan is dead, and Bronzong is dead, so Excadrill actually can kind of Rapid Spin and set up for free, which is really good for us. So we are in a pretty great position right now. And here I actually decide, you know what, I'm going to click Terra Normal type, because I think with an Eviolite, like, bulky set, Chargeable can live a regular Giga Impact, and I'm like, you know what, at this point, I'm not going to want to Terra Appleton anyways, so I'm just going to go ahead, click Terra Normal, and just nuke something on the switch-in, or just nuke this thing in general. I don't have to Terra, but I think there's no reason for me not to at this point. I'm just going to Giga Impact Terra. I'm going to unleash the true power that is Giga Impact Slaking on the world. That's what's going to happen here. It's going to be great. So basically it comes down to something dies here because the Terra Ghost is no longer in effect. So Terra Ghost Charge Bug no longer exists. Let's hope that something dies. Enamorus can obviously still be a slight issue, but I still think I can handle it relatively safely, and my opponent still doesn't know if I'm going to be Terra Fighting or Terra Dark, so I'm like, you know what, I'm going to reveal the Terra Normal here, and just click a button. Oh, we see the swap? I'm okay with that. I'm okay with Charger Bug being a possible sack later on. Actual Freak, Necrozma, okay. So we reveal the Terra Normal. So I click the Terra Normal button, slacking Terras. You'll see that my opponent actually did decide to switch out here. I'm skipping forward a little bit so that way I don't have to try to keep talking. They swapped it into Necrozma, which I was surprised about. And we miss our Giga Impact! And the good news is now this thing should die to this incoming attack. And I really hope it does, because that would be great. Or we miss, that's also great. I'm okay with this too. I am also okay with that. That's fantastic. Yay. I'm not upset at all. This would be a dead Necrozma if we did not miss that Giga Impact, which is very massive for my opponent. That we missed that attack. Granted, that also gave them a free switch into Enamorus or Charger Bug or whatever wanted to come in here. But, you know, it sucks. It is what it is, but there's nothing much we can do about it. Unfortunately, I have to figure out who my switch-in is going to be. So I actually end up swapping into VOLBEAT once again, because I'm expecting a Dragon Dance, I'm expecting something like that, so I'm like, okay, I can Thunder Wave or Tailwind, and then U-turn out on the next turn, and hopefully kind of bring this back a little bit. We do get caught in the sticky web, but because of Prankster, that doesn't really matter too much, and my opponent actually opts to swap. So they swap out Necrozma, which surprises me quite a bit. And the Charger Bug comes back in, and I'm beginning to realize, like, this Charger Bug is very annoying. This Charger Bug is quite annoying. I can't Thunder Wave it, so I can't go for Thunder Wave for free, so I have to kind of click Tailwind here, but the good thing about it is that it can't really do much back to me anyways, so I can just click U-turn for free on the next turn and go into Excadrill and Rapid Spin the webs away, get back up to a neutral speed, and my opponent actually decides to swap here. They just keep doubling for whatever reason, and then they go ahead and send out their Enamorus. So Enamorus comes in on the field, we click the Tailwind button to get up to outspeed everything on my opponent's team. I think we even outspeed this, and here, knowing what this thing can do with Contrary, I go ahead and click Thunder Wave, because I'm like, I don't want this thing to get too out of hand. I want to heavily nerf this thing, make sure that it doesn't do the annoying things. Obviously, I could have, like, not done that and just gone into the Appleton, because Gyro Ball will now do less damage, but I figured this was my best play to make, because I want to make sure that this thing gets paralyzed, that it doesn't get too out of hand. Because Superpower Contrary exists, and it doesn't do anything to VOLBEAT, which is obviously really great, but at this point I'm like, okay, I'm going to U-turn out here now, and I'm going to have to figure out what I'm going to go into. If the webs are gone, Urshifu outspeeds now and can click Poison Jab for free. We can do a number of things, honestly. Now that this thing is paralyzed, I think here what I end up doing is I'm going to U-turn out into Appleton to be able to tank a hit. And yes, I do go into Appleton here as my opponent actually opts to click Moonblast, reading me very well. And the Roselli Berry, we are able to live one, and I'm like, okay, you know, like, I'm probably gonna die the next turn. I have to hope for a paralysis here. So what I end up doing is I just go ahead and click Gyro Ball. I just realized you probably hear me fiddling around with that. That's my apologies. Alright, I Gyro Ball here. Hopefully they get paralyzed. That'd be great. We missed our Giga Impact. If they could get paralyzed, that would be amazing. I would love that. I would absolutely love that. That would be lovely. But yes, we do go for a Gyro Ball to hopefully at least deal a big chunk of damage to get this thing paralyzed and stay paralyzed. It won't KO at this range, obviously, but, you know, I'm hoping for some paras and that we get lucky, because then Slacking can come in, Excadrill can come in, a lot of other things can come in and kind of finish this thing off. Because remember as well, Tailwind is still up and my opponent is paralyzed, meaning that despite the speed drop, we should be able to outspeed everything. But my opponent ends up going for Superpower. I end up getting very scared because this thing is at +2 now. That sucks. That sucks. No paralysis is very unfortunate. But after doing some calcs, I do eventually realize that Slacking can actually still do a massive chunk of damage to this Pokemon, and hopefully pick up a KO with it. So what I end up doing here is I end up going into Slacking. Giga Impact should still actually KO, so I'm going to rely on that now, because I kind of have to. So yes, I swap into Slacking here. I only have one play to make at this point, and it is to click the Giga Impact. I believe I calced it, and I do still outspeed, even if I'm at -1, but as long as my opponent is paralyzed. We miss Giga Impact again. A massive turn. This is insane. My opponent does get paralyzed, but because of Truant, remember, we are in a very bad position, and I have to switch out. I am forced to switch out here, and my opponent's, like, Pokemon is looking a lot scarier, so not great. This is definitely not the ideal situation for us. Okay, we do outspeed. I Giga Impact. Not funny. Not funny, Slacking. You're really slacking on the job here, buddy. You're really slacking on the job here, buddy. I don't like it. I don't like it. Ugh, that's annoying. That's really annoying. I don't like that. Not a fan. Very annoyed. Extremely annoyed. 2 Pokemon could be dead by now, by the way, for the record. 2 Pokemon could be dead because nothing on his team wants to take a Giga Impact. 2 Pokemon could be dead, for the record. So I end up swapping into the Mad Hatter. We do get our speed lowered, unfortunately, due to the webs, which means I think even though my opponent is paralyzed, they do outspeed us at this point, but that's actually kind of preferred. Our opponent does get paralyzed, which is obviously really great. So here, what I can end up doing now is I can fire off a slow U-turn. The webs being gone here don't matter too much. In fact, actually, that's really great because my opponent can't go for a superpower for free. All right. We do see a paralysis again. I'm going to U-turn out because I don't want to be faster than this thing. If he ends up sacking off Mad Hatter, or if we end up losing Mad Hatter, that's fine. I want to make sure that I'm actually slower, specifically because of this reason. Alright, Slacking, I swear to God, if you miss a 3rd time, I will be upset. I will call hearsay. Which is what happens here. They go for a superpower, doing more damage to Volbeat. It's very scary. At this point, I know what I need to do now. I have to go into the Slacking, and I have to click Giga Impact and hopefully KO, or at the very least, make sure that I can KO with another Pokemon. But I need this thing weakened down. I need to land this Giga Impact. That is crucial to winning this game. So Slacking, please, for the love of God, land your Giga Impacts. Best part is it might not die now, depending on the spread. Actually, yeah, there's a very good chance it doesn't die now. So we're probably going to lose our Slacking here, unfortunately, which is very sad. I'm not the happiest with that. Okay, never mind, we don't. Okay, I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this. This is fine. All right, Enamorus finally goes down. Okay, it must have been... I think that was a roll. I'm genuinely sorry, but also, frick you, I missed 2 Giga Impacts. So I deserve this. I deserve this. I missed 2 Giga Impacts. So I click Giga Impact, and this time we do land, and we're going to see now if the roll was important. And I don't think it was. It might have been a roll, depending on the spread. It depended on the spread, but my most likely assumption is that this was an offensive set. So we pick up the kill for free, which is amazing. Terra Normal Slacking really popping off. We love to see it, as long as you don't miss your Giga Impacts. Which is crazy we missed the 90% accurate move twice. But anyways, it's bringing me back to the Meteor Beam Celesteela days. But yes, so Enamorus is gone. My opponent only has Ogerpon-Hearthflame, which is what's coming in here, Charge Bug, and Necrozma. So we have a lot of win cons here, which is really great, but we do have to be careful with how we play. Obviously, I'm forced to stay in here because I can't do anything because Giga Impact, that's how it works. We do see the Ivy Cudgel, bada bing bada boom, and it kind of reveals it's pretty much a 2-shot, right? So that is unfortunate. I will say as well, the thing, while granted Enamorus didn't pick up any KOs, any more KOs, the fact that Volbeat is chipped a lot more than it would have been otherwise is still very annoying. But anyways, Ogerpon finally picks up the KO against Slacking, which is very sad, very unfortunate. This is sad boy hours. Crit, I don't know if the crit mattered, I don't think it did. Slacking goes down here. We send in Urshifu and click Sucker. No, actually we send in Mad Hatter, I forgot you're still alive. I forgot this thing was still alive. But this does give me a very free switch into none other than Volbeat, because I can go ahead and click Thunder Wave, I can click Tailwind, I can click whatever I want, and then either Urshifu or the Excadrill could come in and start doing things. I click Tailwind here every single time. Yep, that makes sense, that's what makes sense. Bro, this Volbeat is low-key putting in a lot of work right now. This Volbeat is doing its job, and I could not be happier, man. Shout out to this freaking Volbeat, like, pulling the team. carrying the team on its back right now. So here I actually opt to click Tailwind, just so that way I can outspeed as many things as possible, because I am also predicting the Charger Bug switch in, which is exactly what happens here. Hence the Tailwind, which is very good for ya boy. This gives me the freest switch into none other than Excadrill to Rapid Spin and get these webs away, stop making them an issue, and guaranteeing that my Pokemon will be able to actually kind of 1v1 everything. The good news is here that the Urshifu can easily 1v1 the Necrozma, as long as it doesn't have a fairy move, which I don't even know if it gets a fairy move, I can't even remember. And Excadrill can kind of do things as well. Once the webs are gone, then Excadrill kind of loses its purpose, but then, you know, like Volbeat and Urshifu combined, we can definitely still lose this game. Don't get me wrong, we can still definitely lose this game, but we are still in a pretty decent spot, all things considered, and it all depends on what my opponent goes for here. Actually, depending on if you stay in or not, could I go into Urshifu and just set up? And you're probably going for, I would assume you're going for, no, I shouldn't get greedy, I should get rid of the webs. That's what I should do here, I should get rid of the webs, I think. Either get rid of the webs or, no, I do get rid of the webs, actually, 100%, because the Tailwind will still be up, nothing will want to switch in. And then I honestly think I leave Excadrill to die, send in Volbeat, Tailwind / Thunder Wave, win the game with Urshifu, I think, is kind of what it comes down to now. Yeah, I think that's actually what it comes down to. So we swap out, we U-turn, my opponent actually reveals that they stay in, so we just go into Excadrill for free. We are getting rid of these webs. I'm making sure that these webs are gone. With the Tailwind up as well, we will guarantee outspeed everything. So we do see here that my opponent is going to click the Thunder Wave to try to paralyze me. Does not work though, because we are a ground type. So that's very nice for ya boy. So here, I just go ahead and click Rapid Spin, I think. I'm very glad that they opted to Terra Bronzong and not this thing, because if this thing was Terra Ghost, we would be dead. I think we would straight up lose if this was Terra Ghost. So I'm definitely very lucky here with that Terra, absolutely. Because we can literally fire off a Rapid Spin unpunished at this point. We will be the fastest thing on the field, and I just fire off a Swords Dance. That's all I need to do next turn. So my opponent obviously opts to swap, and then they actually go into none other than Necrozma here. Actual freak! The Necrozma, and we go for the Rapid Spin. So now we outspeed this thing, which is really great. And I can simply click the Swords Dance button because there's nothing that Necrozma can do that will KO me outright. They could Dragon Dance here, obviously, and I'm kind of thinking about that possibility, but I'm like, you know what? I think what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to Swords Dance anyways. They might not have Dragon Dance. They might not have enough speed to outspeed me at +1. I am not max speed on Underminer, so despite the fact that we are at +1, Necrozma, if it is max speed, will outspeed me. Tailwind's left for one more turn. I think what I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to Rapid Spin. No, I'm not going to Rapid Spin. I'm going to Earthquake. I'm just going to Earthquake. No, I'm going to Swords Dance. Yeah, your DD. The question is, am I jolly? I mean, you probably don't think I'm jolly at this point, but I guess we'll see. Tailwind petered out. I'm going to click Spin here now. I'm going to make sure that I continue to put pressure on you. So my opponent actually does reveal the Dragon Dance. So they get up to a plus attack, a plus speed as I set up my Swords Dance, I think. Yeah, I believe I set up my Swords Dance. Let me double check. Yes, I did set up my Swords Dance. And obviously my Tailwind peters out. So now we don't outspeed, which was the other thing as well. My opponent reveals Heat Wave, which does pick up the KO on me, unfortunately. A very fire set, by the way. I appreciate that set. Heat Wave, does that KO? It does. Okay, that's fine. We have Urshifu in the back. We also have Volbeat, which we can send in now and Thunder Wave for free. Or even Tailwind, but now I'm going to send in Joestar. I'm not even going to play around that. I'm going to send in Joestar here. And predicting that they go for a Sucker, I'm actually going to go for a Swords Dance here. I'm hoping that they overpredict. If they don't, then that sucks, but it is what it is. That's kind of what it comes down to. But yeah, so Heat Wave does unfortunately pick up the KO, but this gives me the freest switch into none other than... I can go into either Pokemon here. I can go into Joestar, or I can go into Volbeat. I opt to go into Joestar specifically because, you know what, frick it. You know, I want to make sure, I want to save the Volbeat for just in case I have to 1v1 the Ogerpon, and here I actually opt to click Swords Dance. I'm hoping my opponent tries to get greedy. We are doing Sucker Punch shenanigans. We are doing Sucker Punch shenanigans. The way I brought this in, you know, Necrozma does not want to tank a Sucker Punch at all from this thing. And the way I'm bringing it in, I'm hoping to bait my opponent into thinking that, hey, I'm going for a Sucker Punch. And what my opponent ends up doing here is revealing Meteor Beam tech. And while the Meteor Beam tech is very cool, and I love it, I mean, Dragon Dance, Heat Wave, I don't even know if you, I would assume you get Dazzling Gleam. There's no way you don't. And then I guess Photon Geyser. Meteor Beam. Okay, so you do stay in. This is okay, actually, I think. Special attack, we should still be able to tank this, I think. I think we should still be able to tank this. Yeah, we still tank it. Okay. Swords Dance. Sucker Punch. Win the game. It will not KO me. It has 0 chance of KOing me, even with the +1 special attack boost. We do see the power pop off, bada bing, bada boom. We do take a lot of damage, but we get the Swords Dance off, which is very crucial for winning this game because we need that Sucker Punch at +2, so that way we can one-shot Ogerpon. Here, I click Sucker Punch. There's no reason for me not to here. I just, you know what, I'm going to click it. If my opponent wants to click Dragon Dance now, or if they want to click something else to recover more HP, then, you know, obviously that's not ideal, which is what ends up happening here, because Sucker Punch fails, and my opponent clicks Dragon Dance again. And I'm like, okay, crap. That's not good. Although now it comes down to Sucker Punch shenanigans now, but, you know, I think we will ultimately win that 1v1, so I'm okay with it. Dang, I could have just straight up KO'd you. I could have straight up KO'd you last turn. I'm gonna Sucker Punch again, I kinda have to at this point. So again, it's going to come down to Sucker Punch shenanigans. My opponent now knows that I have Sucker Punch for sure, which I'm absolutely certain they assumed I did in the first place anyways. But yeah, so here I click Sucker Punch and hope that my opponent actually goes for the attack. You know now that I have it. The question is, do you keep clicking? Like at some point, like this is now where it comes down to the 50-50s, and it just comes down to the reads. That's what it's going to happen now, which sucks, but it is what it is. There we go. Okay. Yep, that's a dead Necrozma. Beautiful. Okay. Yeah, I was not letting that set up. And I'm assuming Ogerpon-Hearthflame is coming in. Yep, we beat that. We beat that easy peasy. So I assume that comes in here. And then it comes to yet another round of Sucker Punch shenanigans. Unfortunately, but that is what it comes down to. And my opponent, thankfully, does go for an attack, meaning that Necrozma falls to the Urshifu, and also thanks to the Black Glasses boost, if I remember correctly, I am holding the Black Glasses this week, and yeah, obviously this is going to bring in Ogerpon next. So Ogerpon comes in, and I just click Sucker Punch again. There's 0 reason for me not to. It outspeeds me. I am scared of a Play Rough. I don't want Play Rough to pop off here, so I just click Sucker Punch and hope that my opponent doesn't just spam Swords Dance until I am out of Sucker Punch PP. Because that is definitely something that could happen. There's very much Sucker Punch shenanigans. If we get the play right, we win. If we get the play wrong, we lose. That's essentially what it comes down to here. But, I mean, here, there's 0 reason for me not to click Sucker Punch here. There is no reason for me not to. So I'm just going to click it. Goblin Mode! Alrighty, I'm assuming you're probably going to click Play Rough here, if I had to guess. So I click Sucker Punch, and hope that you don't try to get greedy. I hope that you try to get the kill with Play Rough. Imagine if this is Swords Dance Quick Attack. That'd be kind of crazy. You would have clicked it by now if it was, but that would be kind of crazy. Low-key, that'd be kind of crazy. Okay, we do see the Sucker Punch. Dead Ogerpon. We barely win the game. I don't know if my opponent was just letting me pick up the KOs. There's a very good chance that they were. Thank you for that if you were. Barely winning this game 2-0. Shout out to the VOLBEAT, really putting in the work. We freaking love to see it. I can't wait for people to be like, when they look at the results, being like, what the heck? VOLBEAT got a kill and it didn't die? What the heck is this nonsense? All right, let's go! Yes! All right, we won with the 2-pointers. We won with both 2-pointers on the team. Slacking did things. It did do things. It did do things. It didn't completely throw the game, but it did do things. It almost threw the game. But I will gladly take those results. Yeah, Urshifu coming in clutch. We played out of our minds during that end game. Both of us did, honestly. GG's to my opponent again. Just a really well played overall. And yeah, shout out to VOLBEAT. VOLBEAT's the MVP. It's either going to be Slacking or VOLBEAT. It's going to be Slacking or VOLBEAT in the thumbnail. I'm half tempted to give it to VOLBEAT just because Slacking almost threw the game away. But we will see. Jesus Christ. I will take it though. Passing it on to future me, because I need to process what the frick just happened. Oh my god, dude. We take those. And thankfully my opponent does click Sucker Punch. Ogerpon falls to the Urshifu, meaning that we win this game because all that's left is a Charge Bug. Volbeat got a KO and didn't die. Can we talk about that real quick? Volbeat picked up KO and didn't die. That's insane. Holy crap. And I do talk about that a little bit, like, holy crap, Volbeat didn't die. But, yeah, shout out to Volbeat for picking up the slack after slacking was just dying. Volbeat in this game really benefited slacking a lot. That was not even something I really planned for when drafting this team, but I've realized, like, holy crap, having a prankster Pokemon like Volbeat is fantastic for slacking because I can just switch in. I don't have to fear setup because I can Tailwind or Thunder Wave things for free. Like, they pair up so well with each other, it's very easy for me to stop setup. So I don't get punished for Giga Impacts or anything like that. Obviously, I actually found out in this game, if you miss Giga Impact, you can still switch out on the True Alt turn, which is really valuable information to know for the future. But yeah, Volbeat and slacking, like, despite slacking, missing 2 Giga Impacts, Volbeat and slacking worked really well in this game together, and that is very, very awesome to see that team synergy work so well. It was very exciting too, so I'm a big fan of that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'll go ahead, pass it over to me. I think I do wrap it up here. But yeah, and just in case I don't in the actual video, I will say thank you all so much for watching. I hope you guys did enjoy this battle. Be looking forward to week 3 going up tomorrow. It will be live commentary, I promise. Yeah, please be sure to check out the Ko-Fi down in the description below if you guys want to see the team builder for this team, what the exact sets I brought, the exact spreads. Definitely consider checking that out, and it will be down in the description below. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you soon in the next video. Peace out, mates!